Hi friends, today we will see top 20 questions of error handling that are most asked in interviews. So let's see first question, that is what is difference between error and hi friends, acceptance. Today we will see top 20 errors questions are basically of error very handling serious problems that are most asked that in interviews occurs due to system crash or memory issues. Let's see first question, and that is like JVM what is difference between error. For example, hi friends, you can see like today we will see error and errors are basically very serious problems that are most actually if you have not handled properly in system crash and what will happen is they continuously call and that is like it will what is the difference between error. For example, if you can see like today we will see errors are basically very serious problems that are mostly like if you have not handled properly in system crash and what will happen you can continuously call like where you are written that public class. So, and what is the exception? So exceptions are basically problems that caused by code mistakes or external issues, or they should be handled. For example, you are dividing 50 by 0, so it will give arithmetic error, arithmetic exception. So if you have handled, so that's thing. So if exception basically you can handle, and exceptions are basically two types like checked and unchecked exception. While errors you cannot easily handle, it are very serious problems like JVM failure, system shutdown, or system crisis like that. So let's see next question. Next question is like, what is the purpose of Throwable class in Java? So basically, Throwable is a parent class for errors and exceptions. It provides method like get message, print stack. So whenever you handle any error or exception, so at that time you can use throwable. So you can access both get message and print stack. So it will easily handle errors and exceptions. So for that reason we are using throwable class, and you can catch it in catch block, and after that you can access the message, or you can use like t dot print stack trace. So this is the, let's see next question. Next question is, what is runtime exception in Java? Basically, runtime exception is a unchecked exception that happened during program execution, running the program. No need to catch or declare it in method signature. For example, let's see the code. Like string is null. So whenever you try to print it, like system dot out dot println, so it will give like a null pointer exception. This you what you will do now is that you can use like if null, if not null. So you can handle these methods like is empty or is present if it is by using optional class. So through optional class, what we will do now that we can handle null pointer exception. Next question is, what are checked and unchecked exceptions? So basically, checked exceptions are that checked at compile time and must be handled or declared. For example, you can say checked exception. Here we are using file reader to read the file, and for these things, if you have not handled, so it will give error, and it will check at the time of compile. And when we go through unchecked exception, so unchecked exception are that exception which are checked at the runtime. There is no need to explicitly handle. So it will directly not say that you handle it is mandatory to handle whenever you run your code. So what it will do when you run the particular unchecked exception, like if you are going to divide 10 by 0, so initially runtime it will not give error, but whenever you access this particular main class, at that time it will give like arithmetic exception. You cannot divide by 0 like that, which you have handled. And next question is, what is arithmetic exception in Java? Arithmetic exception occurs whenever you use illegal arithmetic operation or any other type of expressions. Suppose you are going to divide 10 by 0 or 50 by 0 and you have not handled properly, so it will give arithmetic exception. Here you are going to divide 10 by 0. It does not matter how many times you are going to multiply 0 by any number of digits, but it will not become anyhow 10. So it will give like illegal arithmetic operation is performed or cannot divide by 0. So for arithmetic exceptions or arithmetic illegal operation, we used arithmetic exception. Next question is what is null pointer exception and how do you avoid it? Null pointer exception basically happens when you are trying to use the reference that is null. Common causes are like calling a method or null object. So like null pointer exception, you can see there is a string that is null. So if we try to print the length, so it will give null pointer exception. So here we are already handled this null pointer exception. That is if it is null, so it will print like object is null. Otherwise, it will print the length. And next is how do you avoid it? So for avoiding, you can apply if else condition or optional class. Here you can see that string we are checking null. If it is not null, so we print length. If it is null, so string is null. So you can see here clearly. Next question is what is difference between throw and throws? So let's see throw keyword. Throw keyword is of two types like checked and unchecked exception. So here we can use it for both for checked and unchecked exception. Like there is a one method where we are checking age. So if it is less than 18, so we will throw illegal argument exception that age is less than 18. Otherwise, if it is greater than 18, so we will print like is valid. And next is for throws. Throws is actually used for handle one or more than one exceptions. So like there is a method for reading file that multiple exception are one exception. So here like file is null. So at that time we will throw one exception like file name cannot be null. So for, we can see that throw we are using for handle single exception and it should be written in method body. While throws keyword is used to handle one or more than one exception, but it should be written in method signature. Next question is how does Java handle exception chaining? Suppose you are going to call your friend. At that time, you have called start call method. So it is written in main method, but it can throw exception. So I have used try catch. But in start call method, it can throw various exceptions like there is phone issue or balance issue or any other issue. So here we have written as a signature to throw keywords because it can throw multiple exceptions. But in my that start call method, there is one compulsory method like it should check network. If there is no network, then how will you create a call? So in that we have called another method like check network. So this method also can throw multiple exception like signal or booster any other issue. So we have handled another check network method. So here you can clearly see through this diagram like in main method I have called start call and initiated call if there is exception. So it will check through network and other thing. If there is any other problem, so it will give errors like call failed or any balance issue. So in exception chaining, the exception are chained in one method to another method to another method. Next question is what is exception propagation in Java? So exception propagation refers to the process where exceptions are passed from one method to another until they are called or by a catch block or reach the top of the call stack where the program terminates if not paused. Suppose you are a developer and you have one coding problem, DSA problem or any problem. At that time, you stuck in particular that program or the writing of the logic or anything. So you have discussed with another developer or senior than you. So you have handled that problem to another developer, and he also has problem in MDSA problem. So what happened? It is not able to solve by that developer. So that developer handled to senior developer, and senior developer if also stuck in that problem, so it he has handled to team lead. And if team lead also was not able to handle that problem. So it will give error like code not compiled due to missing any error. So you can understand this by code like we have called junior developer. We have given one problem to junior developer. He have handled to developer and developer handled to senior developer and senior developer handled to team lead. Exception propagation. What we will do, we will handle our problem to another developer or senior or anyone. So if he is not able to handle that problem, so he forward it to another developer or employee like that. So in exception propagation, we actually forward the our problem or program or task to another one until it reach the top of the call stack or label. So if there is also error, so it will give error, otherwise it will be resolved. Next question is explain try with resources in Java. For this, you can watch our charts playlist where we have added all interview question means related to exception handling. And there is another problem like how do you create try with resources that also added in our chart playlist. Next question is Next question is can we write multiple catch blocks in Java? Answer is yes. Multiple catch block can be written in Java. Each catch block is designed to handle different type of exception that may rise from the try block. Allows the program to handle specific exceptions in the targeted way. Suppose there is a one result which I am going to divide by 0. So it can throw arithmetic exception and there is one string that is null. So here we have written two variables. So one is string, another is result. String dot length will give null pointer exception and uh, the result will give arithmetic. So we have used two catch block. First is for arithmetic exception and second is for null pointer exception. Next question is how do you handle multiple exceptions in a single catch block? Let's take previous example. So you can handle multiple exception in single uh, catch block by separating the exception types with vertical bar or you can say or logical or this is known as multi-catch block. Suppose in previous example we have used two catch block. So by using two catch block it will be means become we have to write some extra code. So for avoiding that things we use vertical bar and in vertical bar we can handle multiple exceptions by writing this way. You can see like catch arithmetic exception and vertical bar null pointer exception, and if any error will happen at that time you will get the message through e.getMessage. Next question is what is purpose of finally block? So for this you can watch our start playlist for previous question. And can a finally block will be skipped in Java? So yes, it is skipped, but it is a special scenario. For more detail, you can watch that playlist. Next question is what are custom exceptions in Java? So custom exceptions are exceptions that you define yourself to handle specific error conditions in your application. They extend either exception for checked exception or runtime exception for unchecked exception and can be used for signal errors that are not covered by standard Java exception. And the purpose of using custom exception or why we use custom
हे गाइस
exception,
वेलकम बैक टू माय
they
चैनल। तो गाइस
allows
आज की इस वीडियो
you
में
to
आपको दिखाऊंगा
create
मैं
more
ऑल
meaningful and
ड्राइंग्स जो कि इन
application
सभी
for
डिस्प्ले बुक्स
specific
में है।
error message
और
which
इनके
can
अलावा
make
भी
it
बहुत
easier
सारी
to
ड्राइंग्स है मेरे
debug
पास,
and
मेरी
maintain
ओल्ड
your
ड्राइंग्स,
code.
जो कि मैं
Custom exceptions provide better control for exception handling and can be helpful in distinguishing different type of error within your code. So for that we are using custom exception. You can define your custom exception in global exception like resource not found. Next question is how do you create custom exceptions in Java? So to create custom exception in Java, you need to create one class that extends exception or runtime exception. Optionally, you can provide constructor to initialize the exception with custom message or cause. For example, you are going to write one custom exception for invalid age exception. So you should extend exception and there you can write your invalid age exception through passing the message which and there you can write the message according to your requirement. Next question is how does stack overflow error occurs in Java? So stack overflow occurs when a program call stack, the part of memory used to store method calls or local variable overflows. It is usually happens due to uncontrolled recursion or infinite recursion or infinite loop, where method keeps calling each other without a proper termination condition. Suppose there is a one example there for recursive method which you have called third line. So and you have not applied proper condition like null or length of the particular method or any other thing. So at that time, what we will it will do now, it will continuously call that recursive method again and again for infinite loop. So it will give stack overflow error. So in this example, you can see that recursive method continuously call indefinitely. So it is leading to stack overflow. You can understand why this way also. Next question is what is difference between finally and finalized? So we will see more detailed video in shorts, but here we will see the final keyword is used to mark something that cannot be changed. Like there is a final hint where we have defined maximum value 100. And for finally, it is a block is used for exception handling to define the code that must be executed after try block, regardless of whether exception occurred or not. It often used to release the resources like closing files or network connection or anything. The code which you have written in finally block, it will always execute like for cleanup action or resource release. The finalized method is a method an object class that is called by garbage collector before an object is destroyed. It allows for cleanup activities before the object is removed from memory, but it is generally discouraged in favor of using private resources or proper resource management. So next question is how do you log exception in Java? Exception can be logged using Java frameworks such as logging or log4j or select4j. Logging helps in tracking exceptions, which is a crucial for debugging and maintaining software. So we can see one logging example where we have used java.util logging and here what we will do the one method that is main method here we are dividing 10 by 0 so here we can log our exception that arithmetic exception. So in logger.log label.saver what we will get now that it will give like there is a one exception for arithmetic exception you cannot divide by 0 or an error occurred. So this is the method of logging through java.utils package and we can use log 4j also. For that you can use apache.log 4j.logger and in same way you can use logger.error by calling logger.getLogger method. So in main method you can write these things and so both way you can handle logs. exceptions Java. Thank you. And hi friends, today we will see top 20 questions of error handling that are most asked in interviews. So let's see. First question, that is what is difference between error and exceptions? Errors are basically very serious problems that occurs due to system crash or memory issues and like JVM failures. For example, you can see like there is a cause error and here you are calling recursion method. So actually if you have not handled properly any recursion method, then what will happen? It will continuously call and it will create like infinite loop. So if it will create infinite loop, na, then it will be called continuously. So it will be like very serious problem.